Time to take a look at my top 5 drafts in the 2023 NFL Draft, starting with the Indianapolis Colts and the bold move of taking Anthony Richardson with their first pick, the 4th pick in the draft. AR-15. With these kind of plays, you can just imagine linked up with Shane Steichen, what he did with Jalen Hurts. Maybe this offense will have a chance to finally find their quarterback of the future. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, a bunch of guys trying to fill in, maybe not so much anymore with AR-15. And then they drafted a big corner, Julius Brents right here. Like, you watch him, and here he is making this interception right here. Like, his ability at 6'3", 200 pounds, short shuttle time of 4:05, like elite. And then they took Josh Downs in the slot up at the top from North Carolina. A true slot receiver. Dre Bly is his uncle, former, great route runner. 5'9", 170 pounds, but caught 200 passes the last 2 years for the Tar Heels. And then they took Blake Freeland. Here he is at left tackle for BYU. 6'8", 302 pounds. Elite speed, quickness, like off the charts when it comes to just testing. One of the best testers of anybody at the Indianapolis Combine. Also had 41 starts. And then they got a defensive tackle, defensive end. Adetomiwa Adebaware right here, right from Northwestern. Just disruptive as he is fast. That's a 4.49 40 that he ran with 37 starts and 282 compact pounds. Nice draft pick right there for the Colts. And then from Northwestern, they took the incredible Hull to back up Jonathan Taylor. 5'10", 210 compact pounds, 4.47 40. Good Senior Bowl, maybe the best runner at the Senior Bowl. Excellent player the last 2 seasons for Northwestern. Over 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. They took Jalen Jones. Jalen Jones, with 32 starts, makes this pass breakup. Very good play. My 4th best draft was the Houston Texans. They weren't discouraged. They took C.J. Stroud, number 2, the quarterback of the future. 27 starts for Ohio State. Maybe one of the best pure throwers we've seen come out of the draft in a long time. And then the biggest game he ever played against Georgia, he probably played his best game he ever played, finding Marvin Harrison Jr. in the back of the end zone for this touchdown. One of 85 touchdowns he threw as a quarterback at Ohio State. And then they traded up all the way up to number 3 to take Will Anderson Jr., number 31 from Alabama. Started 41 straight games for Alabama. Gets off to a great jump here against Jamari Sawyer to get to Stetson Bennett down for a sack. One of 35 sacks that he accrued in 3 years. They call him the Terminator for a reason. The defense beginning to be rebuilt in Houston. And then they needed a center. In steps Juice Scruggs, maybe finishing an offensive line that has a chance to be pretty good. Shaq Mason came in free agency. Kenyon Green, a high pick last year. But you watch Scruggs right here against Mozzie Smith just stone him so that Clifford can make this throw. They needed a center. They went and got the center. And then they weren't finished. More. How about Tank Dell out of Houston? Just a slot receiver, 5'9", 165 pounds, but 200 catches and 30 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. Tank Dell is just, you watch him just run this route right here down the field like a double move, like elite speed. He ran a 1.49 in the 10-yard split. Like, he's got great short area quickness. He could really step in and help C.J. Stroud in that passing game. And then they took Dylan Horton, number 98 here from TCU, the star of their semifinal win against Michigan. 4 sacks that day. But just a relentless effort that he plays the game with, forcing that errant throw at 6'4", 260 pounds, a 3-4 defensive end at TCU. A lot of different ways they can get him. The 3rd best draft was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it started with their ability to go get Broderick Jones with their first pick. They went from 17 to 14. They traded with the Patriots right in front of the Jets to get the 3rd offensive tackle off the board, number 59, Broderick Jones. Just an elite athlete, all about football, only 21 years old, only going to get stronger as he gets more mature and he grows into his body. And then up at the top with their 32nd pick, first pick of the 2nd round, they took Joey Porter Jr. They slept on it from Thursday night into Friday. Joey Porter Jr., the son of Joey Porter, all in the family. A long corner, 6'2" and change, over 200 pounds, ran a 4.46 40 and could defend passes like that. They got themselves a starting corner. Right here at nose tackle, Keanu Benton from University of Wisconsin. A true nose tackle, but it's got power. knows how to play the game. Great push, can really anchor inside with guys like Cam Hayward right now and bolster the interior of that pass and that defensive line. And then number 0 here, Darnell Washington. They got tight end, a bruising tight end, 6'7", 270 pounds, a freak athlete, and ability just to crush the pocket like he does here against LSU. But also an adept receiver. They now can really line up with 2 tight ends and block the edges as well as anybody in the league. And then in the 4th round, number 19, they went to Wisconsin. Right back to Wisconsin, to Madison. Nick Herbig. Man, he could join TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith off the edge. He could play a variety of positions. But at 6'3", 240 pounds, he's got quickness, 20 sacks. Bunch of forced fumbles the last 2 years for Wisconsin. Nick Herbig's excited to be a Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the second best draft went to the Philadelphia Eagles, led by Jalen Carter. They traded up from the number 10 spot with Chicago to the number 9 spot to get Jalen Carter, maybe the most powerful defensive player in this draft. Just a one-man wrecking crew, violent power. Jalen Carter with the 9th pick. And then they just waited. At the 30th pick, they took a teammate of his, number 4 right here, Nolan Smith. His comp at 238 pounds and a 4.39 40, Hassan Reddick. Great first step quickness. I think the best football is all in front of him. Just got violent quickness and power. And then they needed a replacement for Isaac Seumalo. And so what did they do? They drafted Tyler Steen right here from Alabama. Tyler Steen, number 54, played left tackle for Alabama, has started 50 games at Vanderbilt in Alabama. Here he is against a good football player. All right, just locking out right now. He could step in at right guard for Isaac Seumalo. At 6'6", 321 pounds, they could get themselves a big starting right guard. They got themselves a cover safety in Sidney Brown. Remember, they lost Marcus Epps, and they lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in free agency. So number 30 is Sidney Brown right here in the slot. Going to make this cover right here. Took the ball away at 6 interceptions last year, 10 on his career. Sidney Brown with ball skills. In this game alone against Northwestern, his final game, 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. And then down at the bottom is Keely Ringo, a big, fast corner. All right, he got toasted a little bit this year, but he's tall, he can run, makes a play right here against Tennessee with that interception, saving a touchdown against an elite receiver. And then the best draft, in my opinion, belonged to the Seattle Seahawks. Starting with maybe the best corner of the draft, Devin Witherspoon, who's going to come in motion with the receiver right here. Devin Witherspoon is a hitter. He's a stone-blooded killer. Here he is, number 31. I mean, he brings a physical presence and an ability just to read routes, patience. And then he's got good zone eyes to come up here and make this interception. The best corner of the draft, they got him. And then the best receiver in the draft, they got him too. Jackson Smith-Njigba, the 2021 Rose Bowl game. Here he is in the slot. Caught over 1,600 yards of passes from C.J. Stroud in 2021. Can play in the slot, can play outside. One of the best games of college football all year by a wide receiver was Jackson Smith-Njigba. He'll join Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf at wide receiver. And then they took Derek Hall at defensive end. 20 sacks off the edge the last 2 years for the Auburn Tigers. 6'3", 255 pounds, just long arms, a lot to work with. Like you see this bend right here that he has, you can work with that kind of bend to come out of it and get to the quarterback here against Mississippi State, forced fumble on Will Rogers. And then how about at running back? They got themselves Zach Charbonnet, all right, to back up Kenneth Walker. Like this is a guy that averaged 7 yards a carry, got real contact balance, difficult to bring down. Started his career at Michigan, finished at UCLA, great 2 years with the Bruins. And then they got themselves a big guard, Anthony Bradford, number 75 of LSU. At 6'4", 332 pounds, Seattle just nailed this draft. I only talked about, 4 or 5 picks in each round. I didn't go through all of them, but some of the players that these teams have drafted, Indianapolis, Houston, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and the Seattle Seahawks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the 5 best drafts, in my opinion, the 2023 NFL Draft.